O'Neill, your host for UF IFAS Extension. And we're here today to talk a little bit about fall and falls for planting. And fall for planting is really great because this time of year we're getting, well, soon, hopefully some cooler weather and some different changes in temperatures that will help us do planting a little bit easier. So one of the things we want to look at when we look at fall for planting, we look at how can we plant things in our yard. And some of you may have questions like, what's the right plant for the right place? What's the things that we should be doing? What other things do we need to know about maintaining that landscape? So today I'm very lucky. I have two wonderful master gardeners from St. Lucie County, Hattie Hernkame and Carolyn Luxon, and they're both here to tell us a little bit about all the questions we might have about putting plants in our landscape for the fall, right? You guys are good at this. All right. Well, Hattie, I know that there's a lot of things that people think about, but when they get ready to purchase a plant, you know, people go in and they're attracted to color. They like, wow, this is a new plant. I like that one. What are some of the things that maybe they should think about before they purchase a plant?
They should consider where they're going to place the plant, how tall it should be, what do they want it? Do they want it for screening?
Oh, like if they've got a neighbor that they don't want to see anymore, or the dog of the neighbor, or
correct. Or do they want to add color to the property if they have a blank slate? Oh, that opens up an awful lot of possibilities.
Oh, blank slates are nice, right?
Yeah, they really are.
Yeah.
And do they have good drainage? The soil conditions, all of that comes into consideration. And we do, when they come out to the plant sale, we do ask them questions. Mm-hmm. You know, what are you really looking for? What about watering? Mm-hmm. Is it flat? Is the soil itself, or not the soil, but I mean the ground, the property? Mm-hmm. If you want shrubs, how do you want to put them around your home, or do you want to use them as a focal point? That kind of thing. Okay. And we do help them. And the colors, too. We try to match the plants with the color of the house.
Okay.
And they're very pleased. They really are.
So you do a little bit of design work as well, too.
Exactly.
And that design, I know when you're looking at colors or textures or features of plants, those are all things you look at. Now, you mentioned the soil. What about the soil? Should you there's a reason that they should check their soil before they decide on the plant material they're going to get?
Some of the plants that they purchase or wanting to purchase might not be acidic. So therefore, what they do, we require that they take samples of the soil and bring it to the extension to have it tested so they know that they're buying the proper plant for the proper place.
Okay, so
That's
they can bring a soil
important.
sample in?
Yes, they can.
Okay, and then they test for the acidity in the soil? Okay, and then they can tell them whether that selection, I mean, tell me a plant that might need acidic soil. Do you know off the top of your head what plant might need acidic soil?
Well, your Ixoras, they like acidic soils.
Okay, and those are very popular.
Because
they have lots of flowers.
And you have the standards, and you also have the dwarf. And, you know, we'll have a customer that comes in and says, well, we bought a plant, but it didn't survive. Well, you just didn't follow the procedures or the recommendations, and, you know, we try to help them out in that respect.
So right plant, right place that you mentioned, part of that is knowing if your soil's appropriate for that plant.
If you have good drainage also.
Or sun or shade, probably.
Exactly.
Yeah, okay.
Exactly. You can put a bromeliad in a, and I'm taking your part.
Yeah, you're taking mine.
A bromeliad that requires full sun. And there are over about, I would say, 50 of them. And you can put them in a shady location. And if, let's say, a Blanchetiana, it's orange in color or red or yellow, put it in the shady location. It will turn green.
So you lost that color ability just by putting it in the shade instead of where apparently it favors is the sun.
Right.
I guess it can grow in either one, but if you're looking for the color that it had, you need to put it in the sun.
That's right.
Wow.
That's right. And that's how, you know, we're there to help them.
Good.
And everything that we have learned, we're giving back to the community, and they are very grateful.
So you're in turn
really
teaching them. Yeah, that's what master gardeners do very well.
They do.
Yeah,
they do.
Well, Carolyn, tell me if we have the plants that we purchase, whether it's at a nursery or that we happen to come out to the plant sale that master gardeners are having, when we plant them, I mean, one of the biggest problems that I think people have is how do they plant it properly? How do they plant, whether it's a tree or a shrub?
You're right. That is, and one of the things that I think you should do ahead of time is you need to know where you're going to put your plant So have a place in mind when you purchase your plant. I think that's the smart way to do it. Not
instead of the other way around, huh?
Right, right. I tend to do that. I buy my plant and then think, now, where am I going to put this? But really, the smart thing to do is know where you're going to have your plant and then go out and purchase a plant for that particular spot.
So that's kind of like having a plan ahead of time, right?
Yes. That's a good thing. Plan ahead of time. But if you're going to choose a tree, you need to know, or even a shrub, on how large it is going to grow, because not only do you need to know what's underground where you're going to dig a hole, but you really need to be cognizant of high power lines or tension lines or telephone lines.
Yeah.
How many trees do we see distorted because Florida Power and Light has had to prune them because they're growing right underneath lines? So you do need to really know where you're going to put this tree or shrub.
Good.
So,
okay. All right. And then so we've identified where, kind of like what Hetty was saying, right plant, right place. We want to put the right plant. Now, if we're planting it, do we have a certain, is it like a rule of thumb for proper planting?
Yeah, really there is. Digging your hole, you should make the place where you're going to put it in the hole. You should make sure that your root ball and the flare of the tree or the shrub, you can see the roots flare out like this. It needs to be above the level of the ground, maybe an inch or so. You don't want to plant it too deeply in that hole. It gets waterlogged. Plant will not like that. So you need to keep that root flare right up above the soil level. Make the hole that you're digging to be wider than the root ball. Don't try to squeeze it in this little tiny hole.
Make it bigger this way.
Yeah, you need it to be larger than your root ball.
Okay.
Okay.
So well, that sounds good, because I know that lots of times the soil, whenever you're planting, you never know what kind of soil you're dealing with. You know, we were talking on the way to do this presentation, and that some soils are so hard you need a pickaxe, to get through them, and then some soils are very soft. So making that extra soil there, when the new roots come out, I guess that gives them some soil to go into that they can easily or adapt to. That's a good idea.
Or if you add soil that's already got some more nutrients in it and fertilizers in it or whatever, that's for potting. Maybe it's better than the soil that you've taken out. So that does encourage the root growth, which is what you want to establish.
Yeah, you want those plants to establish really quickly. You're right. That's
definitely.
A good point.
And then backfilling the root ball, put the soil in, and make sure. I wouldn't tamp it down so it's real hard, but it does need to be firm, because you don't want any air pockets.
Right, right.
So one of the ways is also if you water, you will water the new plant, but the water does take out the air pockets. You might even have to add a little soil afterward if it settles in, just to create that first level. Right, the air pockets may fill up because the water has made the soil wet, and it tamps down a little bit and it compresses, and you may need to add a little soil if there's a swale there around it that doesn't have any soil in it after you've watered it.
Yeah, I know when my kids, when I was teaching the kids to do the soil, I would take the hose and go, you make these little slushy sounds to make them fill out.
That's excellent. Excellent thing to do.
Yeah.
And then the next thing you want to do is you want to mulch. Mulching is very advantageous to keep the weed growth down, and it also helps to keep the water in the soil. But what you don't want to do is you don't want to put the mulch right next to the plant or the shrub. You should kind of leave the area that was the root ball, leave that clear of mulch, and just mulch around the outer edges of it.
Good idea.
What you try to do is you want to encourage the tree or the shrub to send roots out beyond the root ball. So you want to keep that nice and moist. And
well, I guess the mulch right there too, probably, because when you're watering it, which you say we have to do.
You also water it.
Yeah, then the water goes right there on that root ball instead of running away. Right. Because I've seen that before too. When you plant something, sometimes you water it, but the water just goes running off. So that mulch kind of probably holds the water right there.
Yes, definitely.
Good idea. Very good idea.
And if you need to, you may have to stake the tree for a while just to give it some support. It may have the bush may have a very leafy top, and the root ball, maybe we have a lot of rain, and a big wind comes, it's very easily could topple it over because the roots are not established. So staking may be something you would like to do to help establish the shrub or tree for a while.
Well, good. Well, I know that the University of Florida has a whole thing on staking, and there's some really good things you can do now to stake, especially small trees. There's really good ways to stake them in so they don't move with that. So that would be something that we could tell people to go to that website and check out the staking pictures and how to do that. That's kind of a good idea.
That staking process that they showed now is very easy.
Yeah.
Because you're putting the stakes right over the root ball.
Right, so it keeps it in place, so it doesn't move. I know we used to have, like, they would come up and then, at an angle like this, and then
And
go
they would
around.
strangle the...
Yeah, and then if you don't take that off,
yeah.
then that goes into the tree. And you may have seen that in lots of places I have, where you see that damage like that.
Yeah, that's very true.
Yeah.
Anita, if I may, also in addition to the people, well, the clients purchasing their plants, maintenance of the plant is also very important. Do they want a shrub that's going to be 2 or 3 feet tall? Do they want 5 or 6 feet? How often you have to prune them?
Yeah.
Oh,
or can you prune them? How often can you? Yeah.
Yeah, like we were talking that the Durantas require an awful lot of pruning to really have them look nice.
And that's that pretty green little leafed plant that has the little purple flowers on it. And when you see it in many landscapes, it's 2 feet maybe?
Yeah.
And it can grow 6 to 8 or something
6
like
to
that.
8
I've seen
feet.
them really tall.
Yeah.
So you're
fire
constant.
bushes.
Firebush
another
is
one.
another one, yeah.
Yeah, they can get a lot. They look really little when you first put them in, but they don't necessarily stay. So I think that goes back to what you were saying: is know how big it is when you're planting and how big it can get. The mature size.
Yes.
Yeah, that's a really important thing to do. Well, that's good too, because it's important about pruning, because that's one of the things that we do on a regular basis here in Florida, because things grow so fast. So if we put something in, do we prune right away? Or we wait a while, or how does that go?
I would say you wait a while until the plant gets established. Now, if it does have some dead branches on there, you can cut them off very nicely. But establishing the plant is so important.
More important to get it established than to do some pruning at that time.
To do the pruning, correct.
Okay.
And there are certain times of the year that is best to prune. Like in the fall, you certainly wouldn't be pruning the plants because you might have a frost coming in and might damage the plant.
Yeah.
Certain trees.
There's a certain time, right? Like November or something or other that you don't prune after that.
Well, like your crepe myrtles.
Yeah, they're done flowering. So if you prune them now, you don't get flowers for next year,
Well,
right?
the rule of thumb is they say that the crepe myrtles, it's good to prune them during the months of December and January. Trees are in the same category. So it's a matter of going. We can actually help the customers by giving them the websites where they can check all of this stuff out.
Yeah.
And it gives you so much information.
More than they probably were asking for.
That's right. That's right.
Or they can digest. Right?
Or they can call the extension office. That's what we're there for, to answer their questions.
Yep, absolutely.
And at the plant sale also, we will have master gardeners, good master gardeners, that will answer a lot of the questions. And if we don't have the answer, we will find out and get back to them.
That's good. That's good. Well, we talked a little bit about pruning and watering and stuff. What about fertilizing and pest control? Should we worry about that when we first plant new things?
Well, not when you first plant your tree. You should wait a while, maybe a month or two. It doesn't need fertilizer right away. Then kind of look for signs. Is it growing? After that point, maybe that would be appropriate. But you're going to have to kind of judge by what your plant is telling you, and it will tell you if it needs something. If it needs water, it wilts. So you need to
Okay,
water
so it doesn't really talk to you.
Yeah,
It just
they
kind
do.
of like
They
shows
actually-
you things.
They
Like,
actually
hello?
talk to you. They do that.
Yeah, they
There's nothing
do.
wrong with that.
Yeah, that's really cool. All right, well,
And
that's good.
In addition to that, also, most of your plants will have already fertilizer in the soil.
when you purchase them,
in the
you've
soil.
probably seen that little colors and stuff in
Yes.
the soil. Yeah, okay.
But
So
the
there's
slow
already-
release fertilizers that they have nowadays are very appropriate. And if your big box stores offer such a variety, and specifically for certain plants, they'll have fertilizer for palms, for azaleas, for flowering plants, for vegetables. So there's a great deal of research has gone into the requirements for plants, and then they have designed specific fertilizers to give those trace nutrients that the plants might need that they don't get in a general fertilizer.
And then
But-
ones that are probably more adapted to Florida.
Yes.
because our
Yeah.
conditions here are a little different than they are up in New York or Pennsylvania, which is much cooler right now.
But the fertilizer 666 covers an awful lot.
Yeah.
It really does. You can use them on trees and palms.
Just can't use it in the grass.
That's right.
Yeah, only in other things. But having the slow release part is extremely important.
It is.
Because then the plant's eating continually. So you need to check if you're using that product that you mentioned, you got to make sure there's a slow release component of it.
Yes,
And
that's
an
really
important thing,
a very good way to approach your fertilizing
Right.
with a slow release.
Right, very
As
good.
for insects, we sure have a lot of them down
Yeah,
here
we
in
do.
Florida. we have
Aren't
our
we lucky?
share between spiraling ragusa, whitefly,
Whitefly,
which is our latest invader
Yeah.
from the Miami sent them up here or something. I don't know
we
what
get
it
lots
is,
of things
but-
that come in at that port down there, and then they move upward. Yeah, to
and then
us.
they head right for us. But
Yeah.
anyway, in my own garden, I check probably 3 or 4 times a week. I mean, I look at my plants, I look at the underside of my plant, I look at the growing tips. So you really need to be cognizant of what is happening. You can't just plant a plant and then expect nothing to happen. I think
Right.
you should be very observant of what's happening in your garden, and that means going out there and looking at the plant. I mean, examining it. And if anything's happening, then you get it early,
Right,
before
right.
it causes a
too,
disaster.
Right, yeah, before it gets too out of control. Very good point. Well, Hetty, I know you've been really busy getting this Master Gardener plant sale. And what year are we in now? 30?
30th. This is the 30th,
30th.
annual.
The 30th? I didn't even
30th
know
annual
that.
30th
plant sale.
annual, yes.
Congratulations. That's
Well,
wonderful.
and I know there's a plant nursery that the Master Gardeners maintain. And can you tell us a little bit about like the plants that are offered, and how did you get the plants?
Oh, let's see. Well, as I said, it's October the 30th. It's on October the 12th from 8 a.m. to 2 p.m. And the people that have been coming steadily, they get there early.
Yes,
so
they
it's
do.
first come, first serve.
Yeah, you get the
Because
best things first, right?
That's right. And they do. It's like a stampede.
Yeah.
So, I mean, that really does the heart good.
Yeah. Yeah, well, you've spent so much time in getting all this ready, so it does do the heart good, yes.
I and the team, yes. We get our plants from cuttings.
Okay.
And we start from scratch. We get plants also from seed. Of course, they take a longer period of time.
Right.
And then we also have people that donate the plants. Now, they're rooted. They're already potted up, but we check everything out and make sure that it's okay. And we will get phone calls, people saying, I'd like to donate some plants, but would you come and get them? Well, we're not in a position to do that. But there are ways of getting around it. If someone lives close to a master gardener and they're willing to help out, fine, that'll work out too. But most of the plants are started from cuttings. It takes about, we have 2 plant sales a year. This is the fall sale. Every 6 months we have a plant sale. So it takes all that time to get the plants going. We nurture them, we fertilize them, we water them, we transfer from a gallon pot to a 3-gallon pot, and then we put them outside after a period of about 3 months. So they get 3 months in the shade house, 3 months on the outside. And we take care of them there. We weed them, we love them, we sing to them.
we want them to find good homes.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
They are our garden treasures, believe me. And right now, I will say that the nursery looks beautiful.
It does. I've seen it
We are all
recently.
very, very proud
And
of
you
it.
have
It's
things
just-
like from trees, bromeliads.
well,
we have all kinds of things, right?
A wonderful assortment of bromeliads, a wonderful assortment of plants, trees, shrubs. We have ground covers. We're going to have, well, tomatoes and peppers also. We're not going to get too much into the vegetable line because most of the patrons already have their vegetables in the ground, but the prices are out of this world. And as the hanging baskets, I forgot about that too. We have them. And in regards to the bromeliads, when the people do buy them, we show them or suggest how they can incorporate that into their landscape.
And I think we have demonstration gardens too that can also show them.
Absolutely.
Or some of these plants that you actually propagate and then sell to the public.
We have the Discovery Garden right next door to us. They're our neighbors. And then we have the courtyard. We have the front entrance. We have the nature walk. We
And a
have
butterfly garden.
Butterfly garden. We just
Yeah.
finished working on that. It's,
Yeah.
I mean, the whole place is really, really nice. It has transformed.
And the monies that
So-
are generated from these plant sales,
Help the Master Gardener programs, but especially the scholarship program.
okay, so
So
you
we-
help with the grounds to maintain them, but then the remainder goes towards scholarships. And that's
Scholarships.
for high school kids or college or both?
Both.
Okay, well,
Both.
good.
Yeah.
So
And
those money, so when they come out and spend their money, they're actually helping the youth of our county.
That's right. And we
Yeah.
have a sign on the building thanking the people. And we do it personally also.
Yeah.
So every dime spent is put to well use.
Good.
So,
Very good.
yeah. And we
Excellent.
also have 150 varieties
Wow.
in the nursery. So they have a nice selection. I am very proud of what we have accomplished
Yeah.
this year.
Well,
we
you
have,
you have a
nice
force that's good.
ferns too,
Yes.
ferns
Yeah,
and
ferns are wonderful,
succulents,
yeah.
and they're just
A little bit of everything.
Yes.
A little bit of everything. So
Lots of flowering things, lots of butterflies. Our butterflies go into withdrawals when the nursery's empty after a plant sale, and they kind of look around, where's all my food? But yeah, thank goodness we
they're
have the
flying
butterfly
around.
garden. But
we're even drawing squirrels now too.
oh
You know, squirrels and rabbits and oh my.
yeah, we have lots of wildlife.
Yeah.
Yeah, including things maybe we don't want so much of. But well, Carolyn, tell me, if I'm a customer and I come into the plant nursery for the plant sale, okay, and I've brought you my soil and you're going to test it for me, and you've tested it and you tell me like right then and there what the soil is, the pH and everything, and I say, okay, I've got this really shady spot. It's underneath a big oak tree. I've tried so many things there, they just haven't worked out. What can I put in this really shady environment?
have I got the plant for you.
Oh, yay!
Our favorite, bromeliads.
Okay. I've heard so much about
We're going to
bromeliads.
keep at this,
Yeah.
you know. But the bromeliads come in such a wonderful variety, and most of them are all shade plants. Most
Okay.
of them. There are some sun.
Okay.
So there is a great variety to choose from. Colors from fuchsia pinks to reds to tiger stripe to polka dotted.
Wow. Wow.
Polka dot.
So are they, and they come in all different sizes?
All different sizes.
Wow.
Anything from bromeliads, maybe 5 inches to 6 inches in a rosette. They kind of grow in a rosette shape or a vase shape to 6 feet, maybe 6 feet wide and 3 foot tall.
Oh, and I forgot to mention, I don't have time to do any maintenance, so is that really still the right plant?
This is the plant for you.
Oh,
This is,
wow.
I call this the snowbird plant.
a snowbird plant. Okay, we have those in our county.
Yes, we do. We have quite a few of them.
Yeah.
The bromeliads are air plants, and they are noted for being low maintenance.
Oh,
they
very
get
good.
most of their nutrients from rain and air.
Okay. Okay.
They do not have a great root system. They do not get a lot of nutrients from the soil. Most of them will grow without soil.
Okay.
So they are very attractive as far as low maintenance.
Good.
And I think that would be an excellent shade plant.
Excellent. Well, good. So then I will have no problems, and anyone else that's looking for a nice shade
Oh, they're very
plant,
disease-free also.
Very
really,
good.
they are.
Very good. Excellent. Very good. Well, anything else that you want to share with us about either the plant sale coming up or proper ways to maintain their landscape that we might have missed?
I think we covered just about everything other than just reiterating the date of the plant sale, which is October the 12th. on
That's this
8
Saturday.
That's a Saturday, 8 a.m. to 2 p.m. And first come, first serve. Bring their wagons, bring their children, bring their neighbors, bring their friends.
Yep.
Oh, and we will have pumpkins for the children also.
Oh, cool. Very
we're
cool.
putting that in
And I
there.
think also if they have questions and they want to learn how to look for pests in their landscape, they'll also have some magnifiers that they can use when they're looking, because sometimes, as we've mentioned before, as our eyes get a little older, we can't see things quite as well as we used to be able to. So we
That's
have these
true.
little magnifiers that will help you identify your landscape, whether you go out 3 or 4 times, like Carolyn, or whether you're going out once a week. You know, that's a really helpful thing to do. So those kinds of things are really great. So we encourage you to come. And if you don't come to the plant sale this weekend, there's another one in the spring. So we have one every spring and every fall. So you can always give our office a call and find out when the next plant sale is and enjoy that. And until we gather next time, remember, come out and enjoy us. See a new addition to your landscape. Pick one out that you favor the most. And if you have any landscape problems that you want solved, insects, diseases, you don't know what the plant is when you moved in there, bring those samples out there for us and we'll be glad to help you solve them.
Yes,
Right?
definitely.
So we can help with that too. And until next time, I'm Anita Neal, and thanks for joining us on this educational adventure through UF IFAS Extension.